The USS Yorktown cuts through the Pacific, a titan, unaware of its impending doom, 300 miles from Midway. Without warning, a Japanese bomb tears through the flight deck, a violent eruption of destruction. Steel screams in agony as fire explodes, consuming everything in its path with ravenous hunger. Men are tossed like ragdolls, disappearing into the inferno, their screams lost in the chaos. The air is thick with heat and the acrid stench of burning fuel, a suffocating blanket of despair. This was not the plan. The Yorktown was meant to be ready, a shield, not a pyre. Red lights strobe across the chaotic engineering section as alarms blare, smoke stinging the eyes. Knee-deep water sloshes as Joe Lang crawls, the smell of burning metal heavy in the air. He grits his teeth, ignoring the pandemonium. His focus absolute amidst the destruction. A young sailor's desperate voice pierces through the noise. "Chief," they said, abandoned ship, steam billows, obscuring the scene as Joe Lang presses on, undeterred by the sailor's plea. The fate of the ship hangs in the balance as Joe Lang continues his vital work. Captain Buckmaster's grip tightens on the rail, the groaning metal echoing the ship's agony. Above, Japanese pilots circle, oblivious to the desperate fight for survival below. Lang slumps against the bulkhead, his uniform a canvas of grime and sweat. Exhaustion etched on his face. Lang stands, knowing he bought the ship precious moments. A voice pierces the tension. "She's answering." The engineering room is consumed by controlled chaos. Damage, control teams fight to keep the ship alive. Joe Lang, his face smeared with grime, barks orders over the din, his eyes reflecting the urgency of their task. Sparks erupt from jury-rigged wiring, illuminating the frantic efforts to contain the damage. The air burns with the stench of oil and steam, a testament to the ship's critical state. Lang checks a pressure gauge, the needle jittering wildly, a visual representation of the impending danger. "Keep her steady," Lang commands, his voice strained, a plea against the overwhelming odds. Sailors descend into the serene Pacific, abandoning ship under a smoke-filled sky. Captain Buckmaster, a silhouette against the smoke, commands, "Abandon ship." Hesitation flickers among the men, their gaze drawn back to the wounded carrier. From the tranquil water, the scarred and blackened Yorktown looms, defiant. A poignant farewell as the crew reluctantly departs their beloved ship. In the dimly lit engineering room, Joe Lang battles against the rising water, a lone figure amidst the chaos. Flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the submerged machinery, reflecting in the cold, encroaching water. The aftermath of the torpedo strike. Twisted metal and severed wires litter the flooded space. He desperately reaches for valves and switches, a futile attempt to stem the relentless tide. Water surges around his legs, a chilling reminder of the sea's overwhelming power and their impending doom. Amidst wreckage and oil, the sea is a canvas of chaos. Men struggle, their figures stark against the vast Pacific. Exhausted, I float, staring at the sky. The sun, a distant, indifferent observer to the scene below. The sunken Yorktown is gone, swallowed by the ocean's depths, leaving only a void in its wake. Distant cheers carry on the wind, celebrating victory. A stark contrast to my personal loss. Though others celebrate the destruction of 3 carriers, my thoughts remain with the ship I lost. The Yorktown's engine room, a cramped, dimly lit space, vibrates with barely controlled power. Joe Lang and other mechanics fight to keep the wounded engines alive. Gauges flicker, pipes hiss, a symphony of mechanical desperation. The air is thick with heat, oil, and the grim determination of men at the edge. Lang tightens a valve, his face set. He knows they're running on borrowed time. Months later, Joe Lang is back in another ship's engine room, the air thick with the scent of oil and determination. Lang's movements are measured, his focus absolute, As he navigates the labyrinth of pipes and machinery, he pauses, his hand hovering over a valve, a flicker of memory crossing his face. The Yorktown. A deep breath steadies him, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders once more. He understands that their work, though unseen, is what truly wins wars.